crossover. So if you try to turn in right from Camilla's, if you're coming through like the Legends Parkway, right off of 109. So there'll be cones. I drew it on the map there. So there'll be cones set up there so you can't even come down in front of Legends Plaza. There's cones at the other far end. It's where you can't turn into the parking lot. And then right where the crosswalk sits, we're going to put cones there too in front of Remax. So that whole entire section becomes an island and you can't drive in or out of it.
What day of the week is that again? It's a Saturday?
I'm sorry, say what?
What day of the week is it again?
Sunday.
That one is, the one on the 28th is a Sunday.
Have you talked to Clarkson Eye Care? Because it looks like there's one set of cones is blocking in front of Clarkson Eye Care.
No, it doesn't block. We've talked to them about our events before that we've had there. And
Okay.
so they have the parking lot up in the front. They're aware of it.
All right. The other thing I noticed here is that your insurance policy is effective after the event date.
Which one? Are you talking about the one from April or the one in March?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about the one in, so are we on the other one?
No, the insurance policy, the insurance coverage for the
market.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
the insurance policy has attached.
They're effective April the 10th.
Right.
And your coverage and your event is on March 28th.
Right.
So your event is before the insurance becomes effective.
Okay, I'll have to have them switch that over and email you an updated copy. Okay, I thought you meant it picked up at like April, because there was one I think that updated. It needs to be updated in April, but I'll double check it and I'll send you guys. Do I just bring it up and drop it off?
Yeah, that's it.
Just bring it up to City Hall. Send it to City Hall for the current certificate.
Okay.
Wes, what they've done is if you look at the policies that were submitted.
What?
Hold on a second, turn it around. Right.
There's one that goes from April of 2020 to 2021, and then they've got one from 2021 to 2022. So they actually do have all the time covered. They're just attached to the
Zoning classification so that something can be done on it. And again, what happened is we had unanimous approval for that rezoning of that property.
Okay. Nobody got any questions?
So it's two separate lots right now, I guess two different addresses.
There's multiple zoning classifications on it, so it needed to be brought back into just one planned commercial.
Looks like there's 4 different lots.
Yeah.
Multiple locator numbers on it. I guess two tax parcels, I guess, and then he'll bring that in. So that's do anybody have a motion on it?
I'll motion it.
Oh, okay, you're gonna hold on that one?
Yeah.
Okay,
We got the bill for that, I think,
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been in the spot. We got the petition from Chen and Son on 115 West 5th Street, which no board actions approved. Right? Great. All right, so now we're going down to...
Just so everybody knows, too, that's the old Phil's barbecue place.
Once it, but
Yeah, didn't you tell... What'd you say, Jerry? That was the... it's going to be... the day's...
sushi.
Yeah.
I love it.
Kids are very excited.
It will be good. All right, now we're going to item 7, bill number 2686, rezoning the 0.35 acres at 116 Beverly and 0.5 acres at 101 East 1st Street. So that'd be bill number 2686.
I'll move that we read bill 2686 for the first time by short title.
Second.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In order to rezone certain parcels of Beverly and East First Street from R5 residential to planned commercial.
Okay.
I make a motion, we read bill 2686 for the second time by short title.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
In order to rezone certain parcels of Beverly and East First Street from R5 residential to planned commercial.
I make a motion, we read bill 2686 for the third time by short title.
Second.
2682.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
2686, right?
86 or 82?
2686.
86.
Go ahead.
Fire residential, planning commercial.
All right. We're going to finish it up.
I move we adopt Bill 2686 into ordinance by roll call vote.
All right, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Alderman Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Dykeman,
Yes.
Escreezy,
Yes.
Sar,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Holloway.
Yes.
All right, bill number 2686 will bear ordinance number 2572. All right, and the next item we have on there is ordinance, or bill number 2687, which is for the, relates to the Horner and Schifrin contract. We have the contract in place with them for Prop E, and basically the amendment allows us to, in conjunction with what we've talked about on our CIP projects and starting to get that going, that allows us to have them provide consulting services for the flood mitigation and the stormwater parts that allows us to get that work going under that contract.
How is that different, like, than what the contract that we already?
We had it limited. We just had it more limited in scope to the projects, and we just had a couple. All we were trying to do is have them generate a couple of, for those different areas we defined. We're just trying to. It allows us a little more flexibility to have them engage in that same type of work in different spots.
Does some of this cross over from stormwater maintenance into the flood wall projects to where there's some shared data and therefore some efficiency through this? Or a knowledge base that they already have that we're tapping?
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, let me back up a little bit too. What we're doing is for these projects, like for instance, for us to even, we have a couple of areas identified as like storm water areas that either need to be, they need to be addressed. This allows us to get preliminary work done, which would allow us to then move forward and get bids or do other work. But yes, the data they have and the flood studies and all the prior survey work they've ordered and done, it would save us money because we've already generated all that material, and it would make sense to have them keep working on that type of project. I know. Good. I'll talk about it more. Please.
Would any of those areas happen to be in Augustine Heights?
We'll be sharing all that information. I can get, but yeah, there are areas there that need to be addressed, and that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And I would say that would help us get that stuff out early. There's a couple of different areas identified that I think we should talk about the next couple of board meetings on the stormwater side of it. So,
Absolutely.
So is there an interest in?
I'll motion to read 2687 for the first time by short, or what, I don't know what the heck I'm talking.
Short title.
Short title, there we go.
You almost had it.
I almost had it.
I'll second that.
All right, we have
I'm trying.
motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
An ordinance to authorize entering into an amended contract for certain engineering services.
All right, we got it once.
I'll move that we read Bill 2687 for the second time by short title.
Second.
There we go. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
An ordinance to authorize entering into an amended contract for certain engineering services.
All right, one more time.
I make a motion we read Bill 2687 for the third time by short title.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance to authorize entering into an amended contract for certain services.
All right, I move that we adopt Bill 2687 into ordinance by roll call vote.
Second.
Alderman Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Dykeman,
Yes.
Escreezy,
Yes.
Sar,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Holloway.
Yes.
All right, so that bill number 2687 will bear ordinance number 2573. Then item 9 is the mountain bike, the additional instructor agreement. Do we have any questions or motions on that?
I make a motion that we.
Do have questions about that.
Go ahead, Carly.
As far as, I realize, as far as the split, can we review that again? Because, in my analogy is that if somebody were to, say an instructor wanted to teach tennis lessons, here in our parks, per Kristen, it's no less than a 70-30 split. And I think that's the discussion that we had previously about program directors splits. So can we review as to what the difference is?
The difference is that Kathy told us that we needed to look at the going rate that's being used by other organizations for mountain bike trainers. And that is what the Parks Department did. They went out and they did research, and they found out that the 90-10 split basically was the going rate for mountain bike trainers in the St. Louis area.
But I thought that we were the only one who had a mountain bike park of this caliber between here and Arkansas and the areas.
No, there's up in St. Charles, they have a great big bump track. They have all kinds of mountain bike stuff up there. Wildwood is getting theirs going, and mountain bikers will ride the trails in St. Louis County. So that is why we went to St. Charles and St. Louis County in order to find out what the going rate was for mountain bike trainers that they. So, and that's where in our Parks Department, Kristen did the research. She's the one who made the calls and did the research.
Right. So I guess I'm a little confused because the sale of the mountain bike park and the reason that that we were given on this, it was such a great thing to have here in Eureka because there's nothing else of the caliber between here and Arkansas, and so we spent over $200,000 on this park, and so that's why I'm a little confused because I thought that what we had here was something special.
Because so many people are riding the park, and they have people that want to learn how to ride mountain bikes and how to ride the park. We don't have our own staff that's able to do that. And that's why Cody Jones has got Wheels Up. He does that for a living, and so does Jay Thomas with his routes. So that's why we're contracting with these different specialist professionals to be able to teach the people here in Eureka and elsewhere who want to come and learn how to ride a mountain bike in our facilities.
Right. Well, after speaking with Kristen, she had said that it was very challenging to try to find the fair market value of a mountain bike trainer, especially in this area because we have such a unique facility here that...
That's why she went to St. Louis County and St. Charles County.
Right. I understand that, but she even said that it was challenging in and of itself, too, even at that extent. So, that's... I guess, how does it differ...
My question would be, just to backing up one is, I would say, the total amount when we're talking about these lessons, again, because they went back, it seems like we've gone back and forth on, so I look at them as two separate things, like the mountain bike park and the investment in the park. Part of it, that it's not about, regardless of whether we give lessons or not, I would still say the park's a great place. So it really doesn't, the fact that we let bike lessons are down there or not, to me is more of a minor thing on it. I think it's a nice ad from the city to have people be able to go down there and take bike lessons. It takes, the way the areas they're in don't take up hardly any space of the park. They're not there very much. There's not much maintenance on it. The sign-ups are in there. I think, Jay's doing like 2 or 3 sessions, so it's a fairly minor, there's not a lot involved for the city one way or the other. So I have tended to look at it as like it's an ad. It doesn't take a lot of work on our end, and great. But whether, I don't know, they called around and tried to do it a bunch of times. They did it with Jay. He would have other places he could teach lessons at that were less expensive. So I've heard them bounce around the numbers all the time. You could charge them 100%. You could do a 90-10 split the other way, and it still would be such a minor thing to the overall what we talk about and all the things out there. I just said, hey, try and find. That's what I was telling Chris. I'm going to try and find the best thing you can, and maybe over time, if we get to the point where we had the best market would be is if we had 10 people that wanted to do it. Then we could go back and say, well, we'll take the first 5 that will give us a better split. You know what I mean?
Well, is this something that we can actually put a request out? Like we do requests for where they are. Say it again.
Bike trainers.
Right. I mean, right. Is there something that we can, have we petitioned other people to see if there was?
No, anybody that's qualified that could do it. If you want to come on and train people to do bike time and promote it, talk about it, do it. I don't know that we have. I mean, we've just had Jay lives here. The other guys have been around, so they've been available. But if you guys if you want the city to publish and say, hey, we'd like to get more people to train on bikes, great. I mean, they can push something out. I just don't know. They got to go through the qualifications. These guys have a bunch of certifications and do things on it. So to me, that would be more for the idea of having it as an amenity for the city versus. I guess I'm just saying I'm not as worried on the split based on what we're.
We didn't build it to be a revenue generator. What is the purpose of it?
Look at it as a revenue generator in a bigger picture. We look at does it bring people in the city that ordinarily.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Sales tax revenue and a driver for the area, but it's not.
Right.
But we have qualified people right here in our back door, so I don't see why we would, reach out somewhere else. I think that we should go with what we have.
Well, my only other question would be is if let's say tennis. I'm going to go back to that because we have these tennis, the tennis courts that are unused and whatnot. Is that something that, say, if a somebody who was licensed to give tennis lessons came in, would we consider doing a 90-10 split with them as well? So I would
what you have to do is look at the going rate for tennis teachers, tennis instructors. What is the going rate?
Any of it, if anybody, I don't think we're doing anything that's a big precedent setter here one way or the other. We can change. And again, I could go back, we could say, hey, we're going to sit on, 60-40 and have none until somebody comes back in and tells us, I'm just saying we need to be fair. But all I'm saying is tonight, right now we have a bike park that's going to open up its second year. We have one bike trainer. I don't see a huge ramification if we get a second guy. And the best way to drive up your rates for trainers is to have it be so popular and they make money. Yeah, we're going to have more people. You show it's a model and maybe you're able to kick it up a little bit. And because they're guessing too. I mean, that was the interesting thing with a couple of them. I don't know, it's different location stuff. So you got to start somewhere. But I haven't had, but that's what I'm saying. I don't have any time. I don't know. And that's one of the challenges is trying to set those up.
So, Carlene, I guess, was your concern, well, I guess one was precedent that Sean just mentioned that we aren't necessarily setting a precedent, but I guess your concern, if I heard you right, was that you don't think that there was a possibility of getting a fair comparison for a going rate because this is such a unique facility. I understand that aspect. I guess, we already had approved the previous at the 90-10 split, but as you're saying, this doesn't mean that we have to do this forever at 90-10. So it is, I guess I'm asking, was part of your concern, are we giving away the farm too cheaply, that we've got a gem here, we're doing it too cheaply at 10% of our take is, I guess, my question.
Right, because we still have a responsibility to the taxpayers, to the residents of the city of Eureka. The purpose of the city parks, essentially, the purpose of city parks is to benefit the residents. Yes, it's great to have, the draw and, to bring people in to, spend money at the restaurants and increase taxes. But, at what, what is that cutoff? What is that,
You can turn Cody down now if you want. That's what I'm saying.
How many are we talking about? How many days are we talking about doing this?
I mean, he's saying, is Cody on?
There he is.
I see Cody's name.
There he is.
There he is. Hi, Cody.
What would you do on the bike lessons? What do you got going if you get up there?
So, a couple of things for me is, I work in all over Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, and I work with different municipalities. I work with different parks departments. The 90-10 split is really the consistent that I have for almost everybody that I deal with. Now, I'm dealing with, in a lot of cases, I do a lot of training in grass fields, like open green space, where I bring ramps and features, and I'm providing, doing every aspect of it. But then also there's times where I am using park facilities like Eureka, like down in Arkansas, or out in Kansas City, where I'm using, they might not be the exact same infrastructure that you have here in Eureka, but it's still very common to have that split. And it is one of those, it is a unique skill set. A lot of us, Jay and myself included, have spent, the certifications alone, it's days, it's thousands of dollars invested to become a certified mountain bike instructor, the insurance alone. It is a unique skill that me and Jay offer, both being local guys. I don't know if that helps.
How many times are you going to do it?
So typically, my expectations at the actual mountain bike park, if I do 3 to 4 events this year, that would be a lot. Most of my...
For those single day events?
Yes, so they'd be single day events. They would average anywhere from, over the full day, anywhere from 12 to possibly 20
people.
And that 3 classes. Most of my classes I keep small numbers. We're talking typically 5 to 10 participants per class.
Okay, and what do you charge them?
Anywhere from, and I work predominantly with youth, so I do charge youth a lot less, trying to keep the prices down because we're all parents, right? So anywhere from about $45 to $75 is typically for like a 2.5-hour class for a youth rider.
What would you charge for private lessons of 2.5 hours?
So I typically do 3-hour lessons for private instruction, and that's about $150 for a private lesson.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So will you be giving private lessons and the classes?
So I'm working with the parks to have, that is a possibility, yes. We've been mostly focused on doing group, but also giving the opportunity to do youth. That was an adult rate. So for youth, for that same 3 hours, I only charged $90. I do subsidize my, I charge more for adults to help be able to charge less for youth riders.
Probably
Go ahead, Maria.
He says probably harder to teach adults.
And I can't pull up the agreement right now while I'm on this. So how long was this approval? What was the time span that we're allowing this for?
For this year, for this season.
For this year.
It's an annual agreement.
It basically gives staff the ability to prove that he comes in with a specific event, staff would approve it, and then it goes for the year.
And so far we've had Mr. Thomas and then Mr. Jones. Those are the only 2 that have applied for this type of work at our park, at this mountain bike park.
That's all I got so far.
Okay.
But that's what I say, just back, like say he had a $50, say he had a $50 kids class, he had 5 kids and it was a 10%er, we're talking, $25 to the city. So it's, we're scoping size of events and stuff like that. we're not, these are, the idea is, to me, it's like, this is more about trying to provide, just give some more people bike lessons and make it, it's a nice service for the city that doesn't cost us a whole lot, and we already have the facility.
Well, and it's cheaper for the residents rather than.
Well, that's here.
Lessons.
Yeah, that's the other nice thing. It's attractive. It's just these guys are very, very, they're good. So with the certifications and stuff, it's just nice because you're offering. It's like having that. You have something here in the city, and
right.
It's here, and there's not a lot of cost to us. It's the same split. Like so, they've come back several times. Said part of the reason they're saying it's complicated is because sometimes the splits are like they'll charge. It's not necessarily a straight up percentage, but it's one like the county charges like so much per kid. But by the time you come up with it, it's about 10%. You know what I mean? So it's like it's that's part of the reason Kristen was struggling with it, because St. Charles would do it too. So everybody does it different ways, but it kind of came in about the same dollars no matter how they did it. But I got to be honest with you guys, I'm tired.
I personally like it. I'll motion to approve it.
$5. Okay, let's go.
Second.
All right, so we got a motion, a second, and this would be on. Hold on a minute. I gotta get my. Go back.
Can I just say that just keep it in mind. I would like everybody to just keep it in mind as far as as far as the split for the future. Whether and again, keep the tennis instructor and program director. It's kind of like the same, to me, in my eyes, it's about the same thing. It's a unique skill set. Not everybody can teach tennis lessons, et cetera. And not to discount you, Cody, in any way. It's just, as an alderman, my responsibility is to the taxpayers, the residents, that we got to make sure that, like Kevin said, we're not, selling the farm too cheap, basically.
Will do. We got a motion and a second on, this would be bill number 2688, for the mountain bike services. So motion, do we have a motion and a second, or did I make that up?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
we do.
All right, so we got motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right.
And ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with Wheels Up LLC for mountain bike parts instructional services.
All right. You guys want to go again?
I'll move that we read Bill 2688 for second time by short title.
Second.
Okay, we got motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with Wheels Up LLC for mountain bike park instructional services.
All right. Third
I make
time.
a motion we read Bill 2688 the third time in short title.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, go ahead.
An ordinance authorizing entering into an agreement with Wheels Up LLC for mountain bike park instructional.
I move that we adopt Bill 2688 into ordinance via roll call vote.
I'll second.
Alderman Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Dykeman,
Yes.
Isgrizzi,
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
Murray.
Yeah, caveat, we revisit this and the rates at a later date.
What?
I'm sorry, you. I think you have to say yes or no. I don't think you can say that. I don't even know how to type that.
It's yes, but I just want to let everybody know I would like to revisit the rates at a later date.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, Holloway.
He said yes. And I said yes.
I just snorted.
I have to do yes too. Is everybody going to put all the requests?
Yeah.
That will be bill number 2688. Will bear ordinance number 2574. Cody, thanks. Wherever you are, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for helping.
That was. Thank you, Cody.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man. All right, we're moving on to item 10, disbursements. Are there any questions, comments, or motion?
Hey. I motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're gonna pay the bills. We have the financial statements. We need to acknowledge those.
There are no additions or deletions. I move that we approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sounds good. All right, going into comments. We got any, Wes, you got anything?
Yeah, first of all, I want to give kudos to our city public works for the work that they've done the last day or two with all the snow removal, because I know that the difficulty with the amount of snow, even though our mayor was in sunny Arizona.
I was on the headset the whole time.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Don't forget the Miami girl.
Julie, be careful. But, no, our public works did a great job. I know with the snow removal, with the freezing, the below zero temperatures. I just want to give them a big kudos on that.
They're good.
The other thing is I wanted to mention that on March the 6th, the Gort Group is going to be out here at the bike park to do a maintenance day. It's all going to be hand work. They're going to be doing some maintenance work on the mountain bike park. And I also want to give kudos to our city administrator, Craig Sabo. I'm glad to see that we're doing the 8x10 sheets of paper rather than those big old legal ones.
He really
Appreciate it. Thank you.
come such a long way under my leadership. This is unbelievable. I can't tell you how hard that was to get done. That's actually. What else you get Holloway. You're next on my Brady box bunch boxes. So do you have anything?
I got nothing.
All right, Kevin.
Just that we're still waiting to get the landscape plans from the landscape architect for the St. Andrews, St. Francis Place. They've actually produced them, and they're reviewing them with the owners and the engineers, and we look forward to passing those on to the residents of Enderbush.
Arlene?
Yes. I would like to talk about the dirt on Williams Road. I understand that there was perhaps, or maybe I guess the question is there was some sort of agreement that was come to about letting the dirt remain versus being removed. And I guess I had some questions about that. My question would be, is the dirt was put there without permit, correct?
Yes.
So as far as that, I guess, is it okay that we as a city say, you know what, basically, essentially, by dumping the dirt there, one of our ordinances was broken, so the law was broken, but is it okay that we say, okay, you don't have to remove it? I mean, isn't there some sort of ramifications to us as a city saying that that's okay, or no?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
So my big broad understanding of it is, John said the amount, there were two things on this one that were kind of strange. The amount of dirt, there was I don't even know the two parties, because it was basically the guys that own the soccer park down there own the property where the dirt got dumped. And right. Then I think it was off of Coachella's property up there, if my memory's right, and then Coachella's property. So it's two, Eureka, that was the two businesses, but it's in the same floodplain. So basically, they took dirt from one area of the floodplain, and it's in the same floodplain, and it got moved. And John stopped them before they did a whole lot of it. And he was basically saying, "Look, it's a small enough amount that you can spread." He was glad he saw it, but it's not a material movement where you'd say, "Hey, it's not like it got imported in from say Wildwood or something like that." And you put new dirt in a floodplain, it's basically theoretically it's coming out of one area of the floodplain and it's going in very close in the same area. But we did tell them spread it out, put the slope control down, and there would be zero tolerance on any dumping on that property again, because it's kind of been a squirrely situation down there. So basically we said this is the one time kind of cleanup for Art, for the soccer park, for anybody on that stuff. Don't do it again, or we will make you go out there and scrape it up, because we don't want to deal with it on that issue. But for the minor amount and the fact they were in the same floodplain, it just kind of the times, we would have been basically going back into the soccer park and back into Art's place and demanding that they move that dirt, basically a quarter mile. It seemed like it was a better thing to show discretion. That was my thought, was to show some discretion on that one. Stopped.
So as far as residents who were reporting loads of either dirt or rock or something being brought in, basically it was being brought in through Augustine Heights, which is how I know about it, but into the floodplain. I guess that's my question is.
About that, that's not what John had was. So I don't know.
So they didn't. But to our knowledge, they didn't bring in rock or dirt or anything, any fill to go onto the property that this dirt was removed from to build up any sort of.
John said it was from the same floodplain. It was from one side over there by Arts, brought back over to the soccer park. So it was just a short area.
It was essentially close to Route 66 State Park.
Right,
but it was just brought over.
But where they removed it from, nothing else was brought in to be put in that place, like gravel or anything, any other fill.
Whether it was, I don't know the content of the material. It was but it's just the same. It was either dirt or they could have had some. I didn't go look at the makeup of it, but it was whatever that material was the same material moved inside the same floodplain, basically.
Why did they move it?
I don't know.
And I think what Carlene is asking is, the spot they moved it from, did they put anything back in there from somewhere else? No. I think that's what you asked.
Right.
Yeah, because that would negate the one floodplain to the other.
Right.
Something else. I think it was just shaping up and cleaning something. And that's why I say, basically, I think it was more ignorance on the part of both parties where they're looking at. But I mean, we've been in and said, hey, nothing. Stop doing stuff down there without, because again, that there was a whole issue with the park, the soccer park in the first place, where it just So that was my thing, was I felt like you'd get better compliance. And on the issue of whether you can do stuff or not, yeah, I mean, municipalities and cities show discretion with the application of ordinances all the time, as far as, they let people come back into compliance. Like every time you break an ordinance, doesn't mean that the city, shuts down or does things. I mean, they let the intent, and they try and work with the residents and use that discretion where they can. And that's where I'm saying with two businesses like that are in here, as long as the effect isn't material now, it's not causing an issue, and as long as they stop, and as long as we feel comfortable they're going to, I felt like that was the better thing, as opposed to making them scrape off the park ground and move it a very short distance. It wouldn't really do much for the floodplain, and I think it also, but I would make it if they did it again.
Certainly, I think a zero tolerance from here on out is certainly important to me as well, because the idea is that property could essentially benefit from more and more fill. So I'm glad that it's been stopped, certainly. Yep. I understand the discretion, and I think that if it came from the same floodplain, and we're literally talking about a few hundred yards or quarter mile, then that is less of the importance for me. So I'm comfortable with that, as long as they do cease and desist. Yeah, and as long as it's within ordinances, we're not violating a state or a federal guideline as well.
Not anything. It's just handling somebody it's just figuring out how you want to enforce it and handle it. So
right. As long as that zero tolerance carries over to future boards as well, because let's be realistic, we're not all going to be on the board from here on out. So I hope the zero tolerance is on a city level, and that discretion is no longer,
I don't have any control over any other future boards or anything else going on, but I don't think there's a whole lot of desire to be filling in the floodplain in Eureka. You probably, if you don't have very low tolerance for it, you probably won't be on the board very long anyway.
It's true.
There you go.
I'll be on forever.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right. So the Dagman.
Oh, I got a long one for you here.
Here we go.
I'm joking. I to add to Wes's giving props to the Public Works. Our first responders are doing one heck of a job being out in the cold as well. I saw a picture of the fire department assisting a local fire department, and they looked quite chilly. And just want to say we appreciate them as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Something nice about the police too, even if you got to make it up.
Oh, well, I said first responders. Everyone knows I bleed blue, brother.
Hey, he's not up for re-election.
On the hat, Mike. All right, let's just make sure. So, all right, what do we got, Maria?
Nothing.
Did we get a new police chief?
Well, we'll see. There's still time for people to write in, right, Michael?
Mickey Mouse.
I do have one other thing. Oh, hey, Mike.
Look at that picture.
Those are not endorsements, Michael, of any particular campaign. All right, so I think before all that, we've got, does anybody get a call for closed?
Well, I do have one other thing before we do go into closed, and that's, we do have a lot of residents in the city of Eureka with children who skateboard. And for those of you who weren't on the board at the time, several years ago, there were a bunch of kids who came to the Board of Aldermen meeting and gave a presentation on a class that they did while attending LaSalle Springs Middle School on the benefits of having a skate park in the community. So we didn't have the money at the time. At the time, it was, of course, nobody was against it. However, one of the things that was a concern was the money. We didn't have, $100,000 to spend on a skate park. Not saying that, it would cost $100,000. We were just guesstimating at that point. So with us selling the water, it's something that I would like the rest of the board to keep in mind, that in the future, having a skate park in the city of Eureka for skateboards particularly would be great, because there are a lot of kids who do skate still. So that's it.
All right, well done. Anybody want to call for closed?
So moved.
Okay.
There we got a motion and a second to go to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. See you, Caitlin, Mary.
Bye.
See you in a second. Oh.
Want to have the city marketed, or I want to do something, I think we need to sit down and actually say, what is the scope of services that we want to do, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. I guess I'm saying I'm kind of in between the two. If the amount stays low enough and we're a couple of months of trying to promote the area through that organization, I don't want to do it forever, but I don't know that I necessarily want to go through I don't want to get to that level yet either with it, but I agree. So that's where I'm kind of at, is on a tweener. But I could tell them, could you give me some information back from the last one and come up with something for you guys to take a look at? I just didn't want to do it if everybody's like, hey, I'm not interested at all.
I definitely like more information.
Okay. All right, let me get a little tightened up and we'll get that back to you for the next one. All right, we got anything else? All right. I'm going to go home. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
I think we should formally adjourn, so.
I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
That, oh, you, Julie.
Yeah, me. I may never come back.
I don't blame you.
Right? Bye, guys.